Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Dr. Billy here. So in my last episode, I showed you a number of ways to make fire using cotton balls and dryer lint and Frito chips and Dorito chips. Today, I want to continue on that theme about unorthodox ways of starting a fire. In an emergency situation, a fire can become an absolutely critical skill that you need to keep yourself safe and also to keep your family safe. Not only is a fire good for signaling, there's just that sense of emotional well-being that you have when you are able to look and see your fire. Think about the hours you spend standing in front of your campfire, sitting in front of your campfire, sitting in front of your fireplace in your home. A fire just brings a sense of safety and a sense of well-being. And of course, fire gives you a sense of heat, or it gives you the capacity for heat, so that it becomes a survival skill as well as a cooking skill. So today I'm going to show you 3 more atypical methods of starting a fire in an emergency situation that I think you hope you will find interesting and add to your skill set should an emergency situation occur. And I know it's hard to think about emergency situations. Out here in the West, the 2 most likely scenarios we have for emergency situations are either forest fires or earthquakes. But people living out in the East know about the emergency situations that can be generated from hurricanes. People in the South understand the emergency situations that can be generated from tornadoes as well as hurricanes in their area. So, I hope you will find these 3 methods interesting, and I'm using everyday items that you have around your house that you can use to start your fire. And certainly, these are also methods that you can use to put in your emergency evacuation bag or into your backpack. And the other thing that I want to say about this is that I'm a fellow who likes to go outdoors a lot, but I'm not a retired Green Beret. I'm not a retired Army Ranger. I'm not a retired Navy SEAL. I'm just an everyday guy like most of the people watching this. And so I think these are skills that you may not have thought about before, but I think that knowing how to make fire in atypical ways is one of those forewarned is forearmed kinds of skills. So, on to the skills. So the first item that I want to show you today is this nifty product. It's called Paratinder. Now this is rated at 550 paracord, which means it's rated at 550 pounds. But let me show you a couple things that are really cool about this. Let me take out my breast cancer awareness knife. I keep in my pack with me. I'm just going to cut off a little small section of this. When you peel this open, it has 7, I believe, threads in it, 7 cords in it, and you can pull them out and actually use them as thread in an emergency situation. So the center braid here is actually made of flammable material. So you can use this as a tinder bundle, cut off maybe a 2-foot section, use it as a tinder bundle. But take a look at this. It's a little bit windy here today, but you can see how flammable it is. You put this in your fire. Again, we've got this wind going on. Let me light it one more time. By the way, I just want to say too, this is a lighter that I carry in my backpack with me. It's a refillable lighter. It gives you a triple burner, and it's also designed to be windproof. So as you can see here, here it goes. Put that into its tinder pile, and you have fire. I think this is such a neat product to work with. Again, it's windy today, and that's why we're having some difficulty keeping it lit. But if we were in a more protected environment, just going to knot this up a little bit. If we were in a more protected environment, you can see how well it burns. So the Paratinder isn't very expensive. I think it cost me something like $8.50 and I got 30 feet of it. And I would really encourage you to consider keeping that in your emergency bag or in your backpack. I keep it in my backpack with me. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. The second method of making fire in an emergency situation, again, may not be something that you have thought of, but it's a little bit outside the box, but I think you'd be pretty interested in seeing this. I've cut about 8 strands of duct tape, and I'm going to just reach in and grab the duct tape. You take it like this, and you just form it into a little ball, just like that. Then bring out your lighter and that becomes your ignition source with your tinder pile and a little wad of duct tape, 100-mile-an-hour tape, a little wad like that, and I can get a 3-minute burn. So of course you'd put that in there, maybe put a tinder pile on top of it, put some small branches on it, and the next thing you know, you've got a great fire in an emergency situation. And you can see how well this is burning. Who would ever thought that duct tape could be a source of ignition for a campfire? And again, I can usually get between 3 and 4 minutes, just a little 6-inch piece of tape. I can usually get a 3 or 4 minute burn out of it, which is plenty of time to get your tinder bundle up and ignited and get your smaller branches also ignited on your way to a larger fire. So I sped up the process a little bit, but this is the flame at about 3.5 minutes. Great source of ignition in an emergency situation. So here's the final method of starting a fire that I wanted to show you. Again, that kind of outside the box you may not have thought of. This is a piece of fine steel wool. And this is a 9-volt battery. You find it in your smoke detectors. We used to put these in transistor radios when I was a child. So if you just take the steel wool, get a little bit frayed at the end, and remember, in order to start a fire, all you need to do is get a glowing ember, and then you just put that in your tinder bundle. But take a look at this. Now I'm going to make this a little bit furrier. But you can see, using this method, that you can get a really nice ember. So you can see you can get a really nice ember to put into your tinder pile, and you can make a great campfire in an emergency situation just using some steel wool, some fine steel wool. I've also been told, I've never actually done this myself, I've also been told that you can use a Brillo pad and get the same results. The only thing that I would suggest to you is that if you are going to use this method and bring this as a potential emergency fire starter method, make sure that you put some electrical tape on top of the battery so that there's no way that the top of the battery can come in contact with any metal in your backpack or your emergency bag, and store the steel wool at a distance away in your pack away from the battery. So again, just an extra precaution to make sure that they can't ignite in your backpack, because obviously the last thing you want to be doing is hiking down the trail and finding your backpack on fire. So This is that's the third method of starting fire in an emergency situation. I just want to show you one more thing. I actually picked these up at all $1. I guess it's all $1.25 now, but I picked this up at all $1 for $1.25. Can fit in your backpack, can fit in your emergency pack, and these are actually basically small fire starter logs. And heck, for $1.25, just another way to ensure that you can get a fire started. So, I hope you enjoyed this second episode of outside the box ways of thinking of starting fires. And please, if there are other ways that you, atypical ways that you know of that you would like to contribute, use the comments section. And please consider hitting the like button, the thumbs up button, and the subscribe button. And I'll see you on the trail.